good morning to you, our viewers. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Today being the 21st of February 2024. I hope you're having a lovely and beautiful morning. I'm your host, Miriam Kaiman. Of course, in studio, I'm not alone. I'm joined by my colleague, Afias Kaptula, where we're going to be taking you for an hour or so, looking at various issues pertaining to governance, policy, as well as issues that are happening in our current affairs sector. Good morning, Afias.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I know it's still the month of February, month of love. I don't know if you're still receiving your gifts.
No, I'm done, I think.
You're done so early?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Back to business.
But I hope you received...
Yes, I received it.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, that's lovely. Unfortunately, I was waiting to receive from you, my colleague, but so unfair that I didn't receive it.
No, the month has not ended, as I've said, so be hopeful.
Anyway,
something can come up.
Yes, anyway, sure. Indeed, we are hopeful, but later on in studio, we are going to be joined by a guest who is going to help us discuss various issues that are happening in our political sector. But right about now, let's get direct into our health corner and just see what the doctors have for us this morning.
Good morning, my name is Dr. Rafat Basit Masa. I'm coming from Medical Women's Association of Zambia, MWAZ, and I'm working in University Teaching Hospital as a general surgeon. We're going to have another exciting topic in burns that we've been talking in the last 2 days. So today we're going to talk about treatment. But before that, remember we talked about introduction, we talked about the symptoms, which is very important because we talked about what causes you to have burns, like fire, hot water, hot oil, porridge, acids, alkalines, and something very cold, and many more things that causes burns. So we looked at the types of burns, we looked at the depth of burns, how much burns can injure your body, up to what level, we looked at them. Now we are going to talk about the treatment of burns. So the different kind of burns that we looked at, we talked about superficial burns, the ones which doesn't cause much damage inside your skin. It just there's loss of skin and there's there's a lot of pain, there's redness, and slightly a bit of loss of function as well. So in those burns, first of all, ensure that when you get any great burns, make sure you go to your nearest health care. They are going to provide all the treatment for you. As we discussed earlier, that when you get burned, do not apply anything on your wounds. Just make sure that you go to the basin, wash your hands or the part that has been burned in normal room temperature water for about 20 minutes. From there, go to the nearest health care and they'll provide everything for you. So for the superficial burns, there is nothing much that needs to be done. We can give you some ointments to apply and teach you how these wounds can be looked after. And between 7 to 14 days, if you're accurately following our instructions or our instructions from the healthcare, from the nurses, from the doctors, then definitely you are going to heal very well between 7 to 14 days. Then for the burns which are second degree, that those burns which are deeper than the first degree, for example, they'll go slightly deeper than the skin, they'll cause blisters, they'll also be very, very painful, and they are going to make you feel devastated. You lose lots of fluids. Sometimes you also lose a bit of blood because as they are cleaning the wounds, you'll be bleeding from the wounds. and that will cause you to have a bit of anemia as well. So it's also a very, very devastating time for the patient, for the patient's family as well, because the patient's family has to be always by the bedside to ensure that they are looking after the patient. The children, it's very devastating to see children getting burned, because children are the most beautiful people that we have in this world, and when they get hurt, we also get hurt. So ensure that we protect them as well. So when it comes to second degree burns, they actually require admission. They require good, adequate. We need to give them good amount of fluids, because remember that there is skin loss and they've lost some fluids. Then, if required, we give them blood. Then we actually give, if there's infection, we give them antibiotics. Then we make sure that we are cleaning the wounds very well. Then we ensure that once you get burnt, make sure that if your hand gets burned or your leg gets burns, any part of your body that gets burns, please make sure that you're always mobilizing that part, because if you don't mobilize, you'll have more complications that we're going to talk about in the next episode for complications. But for now, just make sure that you move your limbs very well, exercise them so that you get back to your full function. We don't want a situation that you are actually burned and your wounds were very nicely cleaned, you were looked after, and at the end of the day you were not exercising your body, so that makes you become very stiff and you're unable to move that part of your body. So we want you to function the way you used to before. Of course, life is never the same after you get burned, because you end up getting scars, and it's very devastating with your family, then with your spouse, with a lot of complications coming. So that's why avoiding these burns is the best solution. So please, let's make sure that we avoid getting burned as much as we can, and especially when it comes to children. Our majority statistics in university teaching hospital, what we noticed is we receive a lot of children every single day. And majority of these children, they get burned because most of the mothers are working mothers. You find they've gone for work and they've remained with the maids, and they were not really adequately looked after. So you find the children, they end up touching pots, hot water, pots with porridge, or braziers. They go into braziers, or some of them even fall on the braziers and they get burned. Sometimes they get burned really bad that they don't recover. Others actually recover, others we lose them. So it's it's a very devastating situation where you find a beautiful child who has been playing around, has been living well, suddenly dies because he has been burned. So these things can be always avoided because of we can avoid them. Ensure that even if wherever we leave our children, please make sure that you emphasize them to look after your children very well. Let's look after our children very well, like they are our children. So we ensure that they don't go through these devastating situations. For a child, it's very difficult because they're going to grow. They are our future, so why should we let them get burnt? So please make sure that you protect our children, ourselves, from getting burned. Please keep watching Camnet, because we are going to bring you different types of topics, different types of discussion, wonderful discussions. You're going to learn so many things from us. We are going to teach you a lot of things. So please stay tuned with Camnet channel. Keep watching every day, and you will learn a lot of things with us. My name's Dr. Rafat Basit Masa. I'm coming from Medical Women's Association of Zambia, MWAS, and I'm working in University Teaching Hospital. Please stay tuned and keep watching us with these exciting topics.
That was the health corner right there, just telling us in terms of how to treat bans with regards with children.
Yes.
This is very important. These are issues that are happening every day, and especially in the court season. But also as well, women are very busy now. The mothers are very busy working, so
Yes.
these things are happening.
Yes, and most of the times, like you said, the mother are working, we do not pay attention to the young ones. So you find the child gets a burn, you don't even know what to do. And sometimes there are a lot of myths. Sometimes they'll tell you, okay, since you bent yourself here, you need to apply something like this, you need to do this, but you need to ensure that you visit your nearest health facility and just, have that burn being checked, because later on we get to find a situation where it developed to become something else. Yeah.
All right, maybe right about now, just move into the money markets and see how the kwacha is faring this morning. All right, the US dollar there is buying at 22 kwacha 44 ngwe, selling at 22 kwacha 88 ngwe. The euro is buying at 24 kwacha, selling at 29 ngwe. The other selling at 24 kwacha 76 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 1 kwacha 19 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 21 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 28 kwacha 37 ngwe, selling at 28 kwacha 93 ngwe. We have seen that the kwacha has been dancing around 21 kwacha, 22
yes,
and 23 in the recent days.
It has continued to gain strength against major convertibles. That is something that we like to see, and people are looking forward where we're going to see it, trending at 10 kwacha.
Yeah, we're looking forward. Those people, some economists are expressing skepticism to say it's artificial. But however, these are interventions that have been put in place by the Bank of Zambia. And I think the strengthening of the kwacha is what is important.
Yes.
And the sustainability also. We hope that it is sustained. It should keep coming down. We're going to be seeing the excitement this time.
Yes,
like
the changes.
The changes, yes. Because they also, when it continues, the fluctuation, when the frequent fluctuation, they are very bad for business because there's unpredictability in the economy. So we hope that they continue sustaining it like that.
And we're moving forward. We are on a Wednesday edition. We always look at governance policy as well as other issues that are happening in the political sector. But moving on, let's get direct into zooming in some of the headlines that made news yesterday. A quite interesting story. We did see Government Chief Whip Stanford Musa, who expressed concern about the growing disregard for parliamentary procedures by members of parliament, both inside and outside the House. Mr. Musa says members of parliament last week held a press briefing making claims that the speaker hinders their debate time on crucial national matters, potentially misleading the public. Let's get to look at that story.
Government Chief Whip in the National Assembly, Stanford Musa, has urged members of parliament to observe high levels of decorum in the House. Mr. Musa says he has noted with concern, since the National Assembly resumed last week, an increase in disregard to parliamentary procedures and decorum both within and outside the House. Speaking during a press conference Tuesday afternoon in Lusaka at Parliament buildings, Mr. Musa says some opposition, Patriotic Front PF and independent members of parliament have been debating the character and impartiality of the Speaker, a situation which has potential to mislead the public.
Freedom of speech is enjoyed inside the House, and it is the duty of each member of parliament to refrain from making any comments or observations which may be prejudicial to the privileges, rights, dignity, and authority of the House, which he himself or herself enjoys. Therefore, freedom of speech in the House is merely from external influence or interference, but the expressions may still remain to be punishable by the House if they are not positively supported by the facts.
Mr. Musa has since disclosed that the House is in receipt of complaints of breach of parliamentary privileges due to statements issued by some independent and Patriotic Front members of parliament.
We have received complaints of breach of parliamentary privileges that have since been received by both the Office of the Speaker and that of the Clerk of the National Assembly regarding the statements issued by independent members and the Patriotic Front opposition members of Parliament purporting unfairness with regards to the proceedings in the House.
Meanwhile, the Chief Whip has dispelled assertions of tribalism in the staff at National Assembly attributed to Rumezi Member of Parliament, Munia Zulu, who claims that the professional staff at Parliament is coming from Zambezi provinces.
You will never hear that a staff has been retired in national interest or any of similar issues. Therefore, to suggest that staff from Parliament were from Zambezi province is most unfortunate and careless on the part of Honorable Munia Zulu.
Mr. Mulusa has since bemoaned the trend of some opposition members of Parliament who leave the House after logging in, stating that it is counterproductive to their ability to provide checks and balances to the executive. For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Quite interesting story there. We have seen that for quite some time now, a lot of opposition politicians in Parliament, members of Parliament, have continued, to raise concern that they are not given the liberty to debate on national matters. They are being hindered by the Speaker to go ahead and, debate on these national issues and represent their various respective constituencies in Parliament. Yeah.
Yeah. What was what came out prominent from the address by the government chief whip there is that these members of Parliament, they are complaining that they're not being given an opportunity to debate. In Parliament there is this procedure where you rise on a matter of urgent national importance. There is that provision. However, it is the Speaker, it is incumbent on the Speaker to determine if your issue is of urgent national importance like that. So I think there have been prominent complaints, especially among independent members of Parliament and the Patriotic Front members of Parliament. So we are waiting to see, because from like what he mentioned there, he said that the office of the clerk and also the office of the Speaker, they are in receipt of these complaints, which are tantamount to breach of parliamentary privileges because of debating, in terms of debating the character and the impartiality of the Speaker, which is not allowed according to Mr. Musa there. He was saying that there are procedures where these complaints can be made known in the House, away from debating outside.
Yeah. It's very, very interesting that a lot of sometimes I think opposition members of Parliament as well as independent members of Parliament, sometimes they would try to I don't know how I can put it, but most of the time is that they have complaint on timeless count about various issues. Sometimes it's just for the sake of complaining. Okay, that's which is a worry now, because you need to look at what are you complaining of. Like you said, the government chief whip, it's upon the Speaker of the National Assembly to say, okay, now you can rise and debate on this issue. The other concern that a lot of people have stressed out is where they now try to attack the character of the Speaker, which is a concern, and I think the government chief whip there did indicate that you don't have to now go and start attacking the character of the Speaker of the National Assembly there. Quite important message there.
Yeah, it's quite important message, and also some other things that came out there. There are also allegations that were made. I think this briefing I don't know if we covered. I don't remember. My memory doesn't serve me right. The allegations of tribalism in terms of the staff which are at the National Assembly, and Mr. Musa did challenge the media to say you can come through to the office of the clerk and find out in terms of the composition of the staff at the National Assembly, professional staff. He also appealed to the members of Parliament to desist from engaging those professional staff in politics, stating that there are no such things happening there. No one has also been retired in national interest. The other important thing is the issue of logging in and logging out. You log in and you walk out, I mean.
Yes.
So which is also a source of concern, especially members of the public, because when someone is sent to Parliament, they are supposed to debate, debate national issues and also give checks and balances, something which he mentioned to the executive. However, it is very important that one of these days we invite some of these members of parliament, especially from the opposition. They come and
so most of the times
issues.
people have the tendency of logging in, yet their presence is not.
They just log in and walk out. Yes.
Yeah, that's very sad, because there are various constituencies are expecting them to be in parliament and debate on issues that are going to bring development back into their respective constituencies.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving forward, let's get to look at another interesting story from the court, where former Minister of Home Affairs Stephen Kampiango commenced his defense yesterday in his alleged corruption-related case. Opening his defense Tuesday morning, Mr. Kampiango informed the Lusaka Magistrate Court that he could not account for the value attached to the properties by the state, but only account for what he spent on the properties and how he acquired the properties in question. His lawyers have submitted a document stating the notice of termination of the property in one of the counts after the accused submitted that the said property is no longer his. This is in a matter in which Mr. Kampiango is jointly charged with his wife, Wanizia Chewa, and facing 11 counts of being in possession of property suspected of being process of crime. The matter has been adjourned to February 26, 2024 for continuation of defense. So that is our latest update from the courts, where we have seen that the Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Stephen Kampiango, the former Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Stephen Kampiango, has begun his defense, and he is, being tried under the Economic and Financial Crimes Court. Anyway, we won't delve much into that particular story, because this is a story that is currently, pertaining in the courts of law, and we wait to see the outcome, how this case will unfold. But you, our viewers out there, we will continue to give you an update at which stage this particular case will be at.
Yeah, moving on my end, I'm talking about vegetables. Lusaka is facing a shortage of vegetables due to the prolonged dry spell in many areas of the country. Traders at Soweto Market shared with Camnet TV that prices have risen due to the scarcity of vegetables such as rape, Chinese, and garden eggplant, which is import. Florence Banda, a trader, mentioned that market vendors are now spending nights at the market to ensure they secure enough vegetables for resale. Let's get into that story.
Change have already started being felt. A shortage of vegetables has hit Lusaka as farmers are failing to produce enough due to the current dry spells, which is slowly turning into drought. Some traders spoken to by this journalist at Lusaka Soweto Market say for one to order the vegetables, they have to be as early as 01 hours, while others are spending a night here.
Shortage iriko vantu futi vakaoda vachitosampana so chabe but yadura futi vantu vatolimbirana kupenda kuenda pamwamba so apa uno timwende mukati mulipe mabeji lipe siriratu 400 matomato eva ni 300 3 chakuti pesa ungene samuza mbili kuti uchoke yako nishikulipe
shortage evenizo vashota maningi 3/4 azimati kugona muno market tuodeko maoko but monga ni mabwera 01 ni machitobunya taxi oniri 50 kwata pede shortage munga lepu niyo short lepu Chinese bashota na imbo nazevu noshite kuchebe mu muzipezo noto ruira cha tena mutuma kwa mazuro tupira ngoziro wa tena kutigona muno market uchipeza be maoko.
That's not all. The shortage has come with increased prices, as explained by these traders.
Business is vindu ni vodura benit kauda vodura za results in drama tingeneza ndamweti manjira soka kawaza chikukwacha abantu laka then veggie ya dura tioda 3 as a result so mweti manjira customer kakwera damage aona kwa titi watu ya drama customer then last in them matiwa kwesa like either kianga 250 Sima Africa Mawamshalan Kana Yambira 450 3 something last one 250 so to do la business price. Ningana maveji sana ngeni unaonda mkibuenda kwa mara kangena na but still enkale ganga so yo ipa like mwezi pa Sunday is 335 350 shortage
awo maveji ya dula afika kuma 300 400 solo tuti wote hapa kubena pana district so shabe ukaoda ndama na odera ingena so shabe maveji ni kuyuma huko so life yone kamuga yafuta yako ni kuyuma mvula kulibe solo tuwote profesi kulibe si oneka drama futi ingena so nje problem antapezeka nayo mwanji
zona mitengo enda pamwamba maningi lepu ni 400 shaka tomato ni 350 shaka alumanda ni 200 shaka kalembula ni 200 shaka ya Chinese ni 300 shaka ya impa ni 350 shaka de ni 450 kudate nzokula 250 200 impa 150 lepu 150 tikatanda kuli balimi wakamba utimanzi siyamenyanisa ti
nanikane maveji kuno ya dula lepu ya dula tigula lepu saka lepu 380 350 semu na Chinese 350 380 so chabe saka imba tigula 380 saka dele 450 me business kulipe ukamuza customer taka 50 kwa cha sagu muze 45 sagu after 25 so kubebe pesa.
For now, it's every Zambian's hope that the Creator will hear and respond to every unsaid prayers from His creation. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The National Pension Scheme Authority, NAPSA, says collecting contributions from household workers remains a challenge, as several employers deduct from their employees without remitting the funds. As a social protection tool, NAPSA contributions plays a key role in safeguarding citizens from shock or vulnerability in times of sickness, retirement or loss of employment. NAPSA Head of Corporate Affairs, Kefa Sinyangwe, says it is a law that all domestic workers register with NAPSA.
Good, well and good, but if they do not make good, we can actually have them prosecuted. Just recently there was a newspaper article of a director who was detained for not remitting workers' contributions. It could be that you are contributing, or you are deducting, or it could be that you are actually not even deducting. But remember, the law places the responsibility of deducting and making that contribution to NAPSA on the employer.
Speaking in an interview, Mr. Sinyangwe has since urged all workers to demand 5% of their total pay to be remitted to the authority.
Of sometimes employers deducting, because remember, for NAPSA purposes, the employer contributes 5% of the employee's gross salary, and the employee contributes 5%. Obviously subject to a maximum ceiling. But we have some cases where employers deduct from the employee and do not remit to NAPSA. Now that is criminal. If such an employer is found and is discovered, they will be prosecuted. Of course, we follow through the processes of asking them to make good. If they make good, well and good, but if they do not make good, we can actually have them prosecuted.
NAPSA contributions play a key role in social security and prevent old age poverty. Prudence Chibwe, Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet TV Breakfast Show, and those are just some of the stories we're zooming in this morning in terms of headlines there. NAPSA Head Corporate Communications, or Corporate Affairs rather, talking in terms of everyone should contribute as long as they're in employment, the 5% contribution to NAPSA, and the area stories in terms of the effect of climate change. Traders are having difficulties.
They're having difficulties, and all the time we always talk about the importance and the needs to, when you're having a meal, to have vegetables at the side. But now, if traders are now complaining, vegetable traders are now complaining that there's a shortage of vegetables, it becomes a worrisome, because these vegetables are part of our nutrients as we get, to have our meals out there. And, looking at the NAPSA story there, it is very important that, like we have heard from the head of corporate affairs, Mr. Sinyangwe there from NAPSA, who said, he emphasized the legal obligation for all employers, to register their workers underscoring the compliance, ensuring social security for employees post-retirement. There's always the need, to pay out this 5% NAPSA contribution. It is very, very important. I have seen him, emphasizing this on several occasions.
Yeah, it is very important. We are, as human beings, we are in different circles of life. There's youth, the middle life age, and also the post-working times. So it's very important that these contributions are remitted to safeguard these illnesses. When you are sick, you can get those funds, and also just a retirement. There are a lot of unforeseen circumstances.
And even now, imagine if a lot of employees were not remitting these NAPSA contribution. Imagine this partial withdrawal. A lot of people wouldn't have benefited from this partial withdrawal. But we have seen persons who have withdrawn their partial withdrawal and start up a business or something. Yeah, so it serves for a lot of purposes and helps to improve the lives of various individuals out there.
Yeah, I think the partial withdrawal also it awakened some people from slumber in terms of these contributions, because others, they went there to NAPSA and they found empty coffers.
Yes,
even after working for 15 years and everything, because NAPSA has provided these online platforms, but it's not everyone who does the counter checking. But when they went there, they found that there was nothing.
And I've seen, looking at the legal part, I've seen the implication of this. I've seen a lot of companies being fined by the courts of law. 2 weeks ago, I think a certain school, as well as a certain institution, was fined by the court for failing, to oblige to this NAPSA, to remit the funds. So there are a lot of implication out there. So a lot of people would think, cheat, but hey, it's a mandate, you need to do it.
It's a mandate, and it's very serious because you are playing with someone's life, and companies out there just need to oblige. Moving on, where we have the Cleaning Association of Zambia, who have urged the government to tackle the challenges posed by the fluctuating local currency and elevated fuel prices, which are adversely impacting the sector. Association President Lawrence Makumbi says the instability of the Zambian kwacha against major currencies, particularly the United States dollar, is making it difficult for businesses in the cleaning sector to thrive. Mr. Makumbi explains that the dependence on imported equipment for cleaning further exacerbating the challenges faced by the industry. We can zoom in on that story.
On January 31st, 2024, the Energy Regulation Board increased the prices of petrol from 29 kwacha 98 ngwe to 34 kwacha 19 ngwe per litre, while diesel was increased from 29 kwacha 96 ngwe to 32 kwacha 15 ngwe for the month of February. On the other hand, the kwacha depreciated to a record high in recent days. In this regard, the Cleaning Association of Zambia has called on government to address the fluctuating local currency and high fuel prices, as the trend has affected the sector.
The cleaning sector is suffering terribly in losses because of the fluctuations of the dollar. We know that, and we know and appreciate that in recent days the kwacha has gained strength. But we in the cleaning sector import over 90% of the items we use. The mops, the brooms, the chemicals that we use to make dishwash, hand wash, sanitizer are all imported. We don't manufacture those raw materials. Hence, when the dollar goes up, when the fuel is fluctuating each and every month.
Association President Lawrence Makumbi notes that the unstable kwacha against convertible currencies has heavily affected the sector, as most of the items used in cleaning are imported.
We have a problem in that we go into losses, and these losses are because we have fixed rate contracts with our clients, and we cannot be renegotiating each and every month. Hence, we want to ask the president, as he has said, fuel after 3 months, then the dollar should be stable so that we can also plan well, so that we can pay our workers better, we can make a bit of profit so that we can develop our country. Zambians will only be developed by Zambians if us in business are able to get handsome profits. We can even create more jobs if we have a stable economy, a stable forex exchange rate.
In recent weeks, the kwacha depreciated to a record high of about 27 kwacha 50 ngwe per $1, and in recent days, the local currency has seen a steady appreciation, with $1 standing at around 24 kwacha 24 ngwe as of Monday, 19th February 2024. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
A judiciary stores officer and 4 others have opened their defense in the matter in which they are accused of stealing a baby at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH. This follows the last sitting in which Lusaka Magistrate Crispin Hampungani found the accused with a case to answer. Testifying when the matter came up for defense, accused number 2, Emily Ho, 39, a nutrition demonstrator at D Block section at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH, testified that her workmate from the same section, Nelly Casalo, 43, called her while home that there was a case of a missing child on the day they were supposed to switch working shifts. She told the court that on the 13th of May 2022, when she reported for work around 13 hours, the stories of a missing baby continued and was later called by the sister in charge before knocking off. Emily and 7 others were later arrested by police detective Malambo and detained at Kawata police station and later transferred to Richard Kachingwe police post, where she found Precious Nkonika, Nelly Kasalo, Rebecca Mkandawire and Grace Siska, in whom were later taken back to Kawata police station for a parade meant for identification, where a concerned woman managed to identify 2 of the accused, Emily Ho and Nelly Kasalo. When cross-examined by State Prosecutor Isaac Munengu whether it was right to say that she was involved in the missing baby, the accused responded by saying yes, because she had been implicated because of working from the said wards and was not aware of any other reasons before court. However, another witness, Nelly Kasalo, 43, a nutrition demonstrator at UTH from the Women and Newborn Hospital, testified that it was true that the baby went missing but could not tell under what circumstances, and both witnesses refuted ever receiving 3,500 kwacha from accused number 1, Precious Nkonika. As such, Lusaka Magistrate Crispin Hampungani set April 12, 2024 as judgment date in a matter the 5 are accused of stealing a baby at the University Teaching Hospital. It is alleged that on May 7, 2022, the accused with intent to deprive Elina Lungu as a parent with lawful care stole a child under the age of 16 years from the possession of Mrs. Lungu. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Interesting story there from the court, child stealing, and earlier also did zoom in the issue of cleaning, the Cleaning Association of Zambia. Just elaborating on the issues we are talking about, the issues of the kwacha, that there is need that the currency stabilizes, being an importing country, and the Cleaning Association they're just talking at urging government to find mechanisms to ensure that the currency stabilizes as they import many tools they use in their work.
Interesting enough, again, we did see a story yesterday coming from the police, where the police service says it will effectively immediately take action against any person found to be promoting or inciting form of uprising or secession. I hope I'm correcting it correctly.
Your cessation, yes.
Inspector General of Police Grafel Msamba says the service has noted recently careless utterances by certain individuals suggesting cessation of territory belonging to the Republic of Zambia. In a statement, Mr. Msamba says going forward, such individuals will be promptly arrested and prosecuted accordance with the establishment laws of the Republic of Zambia. He adds that the seriousness of these offenses cannot be overstated, and the consequences will be severe for those who choose to engage in activities that threaten the peace and stability of Zambia. He has since warned all individuals who may have intentions of committing such illegality to cease and desist from such action immediately. Quite interesting. I think the story is emanating from the wrangles that we, the confusion that we have continued to see from Western Province, where people are saying no Baloteland. A lot of I've seen rather, and we have also reported where a lot of people have raised, concerns that no, this document should be signed because we were promised so on and so forth. But anyway, we have seen that the police have also given this warning, because a lot of people are trying, to incite confusion amongst individuals, and which is a very, very sad situation, because most of the time when you incite something, just know that there is a potential that life might be lost at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's violence that you are proposing there.
Yeah, it is. We have also seen that a commissioner in the Teaching Service Commission did resign, also citing issues surrounding the Barose issue. But what is interesting is that the police have been silent for some time. I think they are studying the issue and everything, and I think for the IG to come out right there, I think people should take his word seriously. He has warned to say they will, because like what he said, these are issues of that border on treason, because you are talking in terms of boundaries of a state, and the state has to, a state which has a government has to protect its population, has also to protect its territorial boundaries. So these are issues of treason, and like what he said, I think people have to take heed in terms of Zambia is a unitary state. We must ensure that we promote the unity of the country, and if there are differences, they should be tabled using the channels that are there. There are government offices, the district commissioners, the provincial ministers, who can then table these issues even to central government if you don't go to the ministry direct, so that we continue living in peace as one Zambia, one nation. It's very important.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if this issue is not resolved, we are likely to see this violence to perpetrate even more. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people would want to claim, no, Zambia is separated from this land and stuff like that. But like you said, it's a matter of unity and peace at the end of the day that we want as a country, and also for developmental purposes. We're going to say, no, we bring in now this confusion. Let's talk about the other area. How are we going to ensure that development is taken that other side?
Yeah.
So these are the confusion that needs to be sorted out with immediate effect. Yeah, and I'm glad that the police have now, come on board and ensure that they give these warnings to certain individuals. However, we have seen that certain people have come out and saying all these individuals who are trying, to push this agenda are only seeking for resources at the end of the day. They want to be paid something, but they are not looking at the gravity that this current situation or issue might have on the country at large. So this is something that people need to look at. Despite you pushing your agenda, what is the implication that this will have in the entire country?
Yeah, it is very important, yes. On my end, we have the former Deputy Inspector General of Police, Charity Katanga, who has asked the Lusaka Magistrate Court to grant her bail pending appeal to the High Court. In a notice of intention to appeal through her lawyers, Ms. Katanga says that Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chimbwidi erred in law and fact when he found that there was a reasonable suspicion that the 10 Haiger buses were proceeds of crime. Ms. Katanga was on Monday convicted and sentenced to 3 years simple imprisonment for being in possession of 10 Haiger buses suspected to be proceeds of crime.
Barely 48 hours, convicted former Deputy Inspector General of Police Charity Katanga has asked the Lusaka Magistrate Court to grant her bail pending an appeal to the High Court against her 3 years imprisonment for possession of 10 Haiger buses deemed to be proceeds of crime. In a notice of intention to appeal through her lawyers, Mrs. Katanga submits that Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chimbwidi erred in law by holding that there is reasonable suspicion that her 10 Haiger buses are proceeds of crime. The former Deputy Inspector General of Police also submits that Magistrate Chimbwidi erred in law by discounting the testimony of her uncle, Joseph Piri, who testified during trial that he lent her part of the money for the purchase of the buses. She, however, argues that Magistrate Chimbwidi erred in law and fact when he failed to acquit her at the stage of case or no case to answer. During judgment Monday, Magistrate Chibili sidelined Mr. Piri's testimony, citing lack of records. But in the latest legal pursuit, Mrs. Katanga has applied for bail pending appeal, contending that her case is bailable and is confident that the appeal will succeed. Mrs. Katanga was arrested in 2022 for possessing 10 Higer buses reasonably suspected of being proceeds of crime. Particulars of the offence are that Charity Katanga between January 1st and June 6th, 2022 in Lusaka, jointly and whilst acting together with other persons unknown, did possess 10 Higer buses valued at 26,282,770 kwacha, property reasonably suspected of being proceeds of crime. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
That's the story coming from the courts, where we have seen that former Deputy Inspector General of Police, Madam Charity Katanga, there was passed a 3-year sentence, simple imprisonment sentence by the Lusaka's Magistrate Court. However, she has since, applied for bail pending appeal. On Monday, the former Deputy IG was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment for being in possession of 10 Higer buses, being, according to the Anti-Corruption Commission, said to be proceeds of crime. And later on, we did see that conviction coming through after the court did, indicate that the prosecution had proved their case against their convict now beyond reasonable doubt. But we have seen that, she has continued to challenge her stay in prison, to challenge the judgment rendered by the court out there, hence her applying now yesterday for a bail pending appeal. We are yet to see the ruling, what ruling that the court will give pertaining to her application for her to be granted bail. But she did cite, certain grounds, that among those that the judge, or rather the magistrate who was presiding her case, erred in law on, several issues when he regarded that, he wouldn't, take in the witness statement of a particular individual that had testified in that particular matter. But anyway, that is a story coming from the court, and we'll continue to update you with the current happenings as well as the outcome that will come out from that particular case. Whether the court will indeed grant her bail or not, we are yet to see that. But right about now, let's get direct. Before we go into zooming in one of an interesting story that we saw yesterday in our main news, let's just take a short break and we'll be right back.
I never have this feeling in my heart.
Are you planning to marry or get married? Contact the Camnet Media team for a professional capturing of your big day in life. Let your relatives, friends, and the nation join you in celebrating your big day on television. Just at a manageable fee, Camnet Television will cover and transmit your wedding on your channel of choice. Contact the marketing department on mobile number. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
I give my love to having home.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
As we come to the end of the zooming of the headlines, I have a story about dogs. However, this time around not as bestial companions for humans. The Lusaka Animal Welfare Society, LAWS, has called for improved legislation to safeguard the welfare of animals in the country. In an interview, LAWS Vice Chairperson Shaila Oparacha has expressed concern about the widespread trade of dog meat in Zambia. She says the lack of adequate health inspections have resulted in unscrupulous individuals slaughtering dogs and selling them as goat meat. Let's go into that story.
An animal that is meant to be man's best friend has turned into a delicacy in some parts of the country. The continued occurrence of dog meat being sold in some parts of the country has disturbed the Lusaka Animal Welfare Society that is calling for effective measures to be put in place in the handling of animals.
We felt there's a sense of urgency to bring to light to both our government authorities but also to members of the public of a very detestable incident that's happening, and that is the trade in dog meat. That we need to have investigations and we need to have actions to stop this as soon as possible.
Dr. Sheila Oparocha, Lusaka Animal Welfare Society Vice Chairperson, claims that animals are being kidnapped, stolen, and transported through Kasumbalesa border and taken to the DRC Congo, whilst others are being slaughtered in the country without being tested as being fit for human consumption.
Two things that are happening. One, we find that animals are being kidnapped, stolen from pet owners here in Zambia, and are being transported and crossing over the border through, we believe, from our investigations, which are still ongoing, but we've got evidence on the ground, they're being transported through Kasumbalesa and going to DRC. That's one. The second one, and this has been documented through two cases that happened in Kabwe, where dogs are being slaughtered and being traded off as goat meat and being sold to unaware members of the public.
Dr. Aparocha further says that as a country that does not tolerate corruption and illegalities, the selling of dogs on the black market should not be tolerated.
When this is happening, this is an illegal business, and in Zambia we do not tolerate. We know that one of the things that our current government that is in place, our heads of state have said, zero tolerance for corruption. Zero tolerance for this type of behavior, and he has asked all of us to join him against the fight of corruption. For us as animal welfare, we feel this is illegal, it is corrupt, and we need to stop it.
Recently, a Kabwe man was arrested for illegally selling dog meat in Kabwe. Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Disturbing news right there. It has been in the public domain for some time.
Yeah,
I've seen that the Lusaka Animal Welfare Society has come out to comment on this issue.
And it's sad that some of us that love goat meat will have serious concerns when it comes to, partaking the meal, because you need to think whether you're taking dog meat or goat meat.
Yes.
Again, it's upon Lusaka City Council as well as other health inspection with regard to who are dealing with these kind of issues to do inspections.
Mm-hmm.
It's very sad if we're going to have a majority of people in our nation eating something that they are not aware of, thinking it's some other meal that they can take, meanwhile it's not.
Yeah.
Again, it's against ethics, and it's a crime. Someone can be, jailed for that, because you are lying to the people out there. And we're talking about diseases that dogs might have, rabies and stuff like that, So people should be cautious. It shouldn't just be a matter of you at the end of the day getting something, but you need to look at the health of other people.
Your consumers.
Yes, your consumers. So it's very worrying. It's very worrying that people, just thinking about getting something, making resources at the expense of one's health.
Yeah. And so it's very important, as I mentioned, that also the police should also move in, join in terms of the investigations, like what the society is talking about. They're carrying out investigations. I think the public should be furnished.
Yes.
Or to the extent of this thriving dog market. It is to what extent?
Yes.
And also the culprits must increase in terms of, because it is thriving out there.
Yes, because the fear is, if we do not take a very defensive approach as at now, the way the issue might escalate 1 year or 2 years from now will be bad. And we cannot manage to contain or apprehend it. But anyway, this is where we come to the end of our program this morning. We thank you, our viewers out there who took time to be with us during our conversation this morning. Please do ensure that you join me tomorrow as I take you in another interesting edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. But for now, I was your host, Miriam Kaimba, as well as Athias Kaputula. It's bye-bye and stay blessed.